Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from. The county or the country in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of political activities and events took place in the Republic of Kenya earlier today. Number one, Elizabeth Ongoro, who is the sister to a Raila Member of Parliament, Otiende Amolo, officially ditched ODM party and joined UDA party. Is that move significant politically speaking? Number two, Maina Njenga, who had been detained in Communicado, was produced before Makadara law courts earlier today. Again, tomorrow, he will be presented before the court where the judge will make the ruling. And I will also do a critical analysis and explain to you guys the real reason why Maina Njenga is still in detention. The third thing which happened, which is also of interest, was the Pauline Njoroge case. Njoroge was also released earlier today. Remember, she had been accused of being in possession of some drugs, but today she was charged with some cybercrime, and I don't think that case will go anywhere. Importantly, Uhuru Kenyatta also offered unsolicited advice to William Samoei Arap Ruto. Again, because mambo ni mengi, masani ni machache, I'll do a critical analysis probably tomorrow about those. But in this particular video, I want us to look at the latest development within the political scene. Azimio One Kenya Alliance called off their demonstrations which were scheduled for Wednesday. And I want to explain to you guys why they called off that demonstration. Because according to Azimio, they've actually not called it off, but they've now changed. People will not go to the street. You will carry flowers and lit candles for vigil. This is what Azimio are saying before I explain to you guys the real reason why they postponed or they changed the form of demonstration. This is what they are saying. You'll excuse me a bit. Now, this is the Azimio statement. Flowers and candles for police shooting victims. It says, since the last violent breakup of our peaceful protest by the police and goons, Azimio Umoja has taken time to get as complete a picture as possible of the pain inflicted on protesters. While the exercise is incomplete and remains ongoing, a clear picture has emerged of massive casualties. It proceeds, so far, we have at least 50 deaths and hundreds admitted in hospital with grave injuries. Many hospitals have been instructed not to disclose the number of casualties or death or even admit victims of police brutality. Many are therefore nursing their injuries at home, while others have had their deaths go unrecorded. Many families are struggling with bills as a result of brutal police assault on members. The truth of the matter is that there are several casualties, and the truth is there are strict instructions for most hospitals not to disclose. Even the police are not disclosing the number of their casualties because a trend was emerging where Kenyans were concluding that whatever was happening was actually ethnic cleansing. And to evade that, there are instructions not to give those figures. And remember, Azimio also taking records for purposes of ICC. It proceeds, it is clear we are dealing with an unprecedented phenomenon of police brutality and of the state resorting to armed militia to quell protest. We have visited hospitals and morgues, and we have established that police and hired gangs shot and killed or wounded scores of people at close range, which is the truth. There are so many people, some have been captured, very close range, you shoot people. Some have been shot in the back as they were fleeing or at a position of surrender. You know, you surrender to the police, then pop. The shots have been aimed at the vital organs and delicate parts of the victims. You saw the pictures in Kisumu. Some of them are unbearable. Si mtu makende yake inapasuliwa poa. Ish. Serious. Anyway. Like the abdomen, the spine, the chest, and the head. All the victims have been unarmed. We have reason to believe that at the end of this exercise of collecting data, the numbers of the dead will be in their hundreds and the injured in their thousands, which is what most people are actually projecting. If you look at the number of people who are injured in Nyalenda here, people who are just sitting in their houses, even sick, there's a man who was actually sick on bed, beaten kama burukenge by police, and then that police would expect their families to know peace. It can't happen. Then it says, now this is the juicy part, it says, in light of the above, Azimio has made the decision on Wednesday 26th, we will hold a different kind of protest. The peaceful protest will take the form of solidarity, parades, and vigil for victims of police brutality in various locations in all parts of the country. We are calling on Kenyans to come out, light candles, and lay flowers, preferably white, in remembrance of and respect of the victims. On that day, we will also roll out the process of reaching out to the families of the victims with a view of offering any assistance that can lessen their burden. During the vigils, candlelighting, and laying of flowers, we encourage Kenyans to say a prayer and reach out to the names of the victims. We shall provide the list of the victims in time for the exercise. We ask Kenyans to pray that the International Criminal Court take up the matter based on an expanded list of perpetrators that we intend to furnish the court with in due course. This struggle will continue. So basically, Azimio are saying that they are taking this matter to ICC. But let us now go into the deep politics. Why do you think Azimio have called off these demonstrations? That is the most important thing in this particular video. Before you do all those, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And you can also support the channels using the numbers you are seeing on the screen. And without any further ado, guys, ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. Number one reason why these demonstrations have been called off is because of shuttle diplomacy. I received 2 calls earlier today, I think one around 10, another one around midday, and the gentleman told me that he has credible information that the demonstrations were going to be called off. Although most of them, the 2 of them, agreed that the demonstrations were going to be called off tomorrow. But we've seen this statement, which means Azimio has called off the demonstration. The truth of the matter is that as much as Kenyans were demonstrating, there was serious shuttle diplomacy led by the diplomatic community, shuttling between State House and Kalonzo Musyoka's house and other key individuals. So there are people who have been negotiating on how the issue which Kenyans were facing could actually be addressed. And I think they've agreed that the first step is to de-escalate tension by calling off or de-escalating the pressure of demonstration. I'm told that in the next 2 or 3 days, Kenya Kwanza will also call for a press conference where they will issue a statement on the way forward. But the truth is, the issue of the finance bill and the issue which Azimio raised earlier, the IBC, reconstitution, and others, especially party interference, are some of the issues which have been reached. And that's why when William Ruto was in Taita Tavita yesterday, for those who listened to him, he was very clear that he's working with those leaders, but he's not telling them to join his party. So that's number one. Number two, the fact of the matter is that the way the government was prepared to deal with the demonstrators, it was clear that they had a mission to eliminate the Luos for that matter. And the fear was that if this were to continue again on Thursday, then more Luos were going to suffer. And the reason why most people believe that the government was targeting the Luos is simple. You know, if you followed the demonstrations, people were being given trophies. The other Friday, it was the Kisi who took the trophy. No, the previous Friday, it was the Kisi who took the trophy. This other one, there was a general consensus that it was Busia. In fact, at some point, even Nakuru was somewhere. But if you look at the level of brutality, it was more pronounced in Nyanza, Luo Nyanza for that matter. So because of that, Azimio feared that if they were to continue, more people were going to be targeted, and it was going to be counterproductive, because people were asking then, at what cost? Should we continue losing our members? Should we continue losing the lives of the Luos, or the lives of innocent Kenyans for that matter? So because of that, they said no. Number 3, and this is the fact, Kenyans were already fatigued. The economy cannot sustain, Kenyan economy cannot sustain a 1 week non-stop demonstration. That is the fact. I spoke to several people, because most people ask me, even on the street, if you walk around where you normally buy nyama, where you normally buy mboga, where you normally buy roasted meats, they ask you, sasa hii maandamano itakuwa kweli? Hatutaki kuwe. Because if you call demonstration for 3 days, it means Kenyans work for 2 days. These are guys who go out, unapata kitu, narudi nayo. So most Kenyans were in agreement that Azimio ought to have stuck with that 1-day demonstration on a Friday. The impact would have been long, and the impact would have been continuous, because Friday, most people are actually even celebrating it. If you have a Monday or a demonstration on Friday, people plan. When you wanatoka Nairobi, on Thursday, wamefika villages, they're there, demonstration, blah, blah. They do their stuff on Saturday, Sunday, they go back, they wait for another Thursday. But when you put it 3 days, my friend, every Kenyan were hurting. In fact, that was the reason why Azimio were going to lose as far as these demonstrations were concerned. Kenyans were now going to say, enough is enough, we don't need it. But if it were every week, everybody in this country was going to support it. And number 4, already Azimio had exposed Kenya Kwanza. Kenya Kwanza came out as people who were trying to what is called ethnic cleansing and massacre. It was coming out. Again, it was also coming out that the government had deployed a special service unit to deal with the demonstrators. Again, it was also coming out that the government had a militia, and of course, it had also exposed the Azimio rebels. If there are people who have dug their own grave politically, are those ODM rebels from Nyanza. Because it's kind of this demonstration tied them. They couldn't talk about the casualties, they couldn't support, they couldn't oppose. And lastly, maybe Azimio want to change the strategy. So let us wait and see how these things are going to pan out. But what you should expect is a big announcement anytime this week. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.